Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm Tomás Garza, your host. And well, I'm back here in the friendly confines of my own office here in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you've caught the live stream in the last couple of weeks, there have been some gaps in there where my wife and I drove up to the US state of Oregon, which is, no, it's about 1,500 kilometers from here, about 1,000 miles of a drive. We've seen friends and family and had a really, really wonderful Labor Day camping trip with friends and family. It's an annual event that we trek up there for. So we've been doing that, and it's been really wonderful. I've been broadcasting from Western Oregon, and well, here we are. We're back. And road trips are really, really wonderful, aren't they? I want to say just a few words about travel and processing, deep processing, before we get into the day's idea in the workbook. It's just so much fun, isn't it, to be able to get out of, well, get out of a pattern. And we love where we live, but travel gives us the opportunity, always does, to see things differently. We see things, even if we've seen them 1,000 times, in a new light. Why? Because the present moment is always new. So we could see a person or a rock formation or a mountain or a lake or something that we've seen countless times in our lifetime. And with the right state of mind, you can see it for the first time every time. Keeps everything fresh. Travel's really, really wonderful for that. So that's what we've been up to. And yes, despite the pandemic, we are on the road. We're traveling. We'll be here for a few weeks, though. So this is live from the broadcast studio with the fancy microphone and the ring light and really, really, really high speed Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, all that 21st century stuff, right? All right. So thank you all for tuning in, and thank you so much for all of the comments and questions. As always, there's been some really wonderful dialogue here on the show, and that is my goal, by the way, is to get you to think about these ideas and to get you to ask your inner teacher for guidance. If you do that, I have fundamentally succeeded. And you know what? Just showing up is fundamentally succeeding anyway, because what you're going to hear is going to be thought-provoking. Might be really thought-provoking and challenging. Might be a direct affront to everything you now believe, and I hope it is. There, and I said that. I hope it is a direct affront to everything that you've been taught in school, by your parents, by your biology textbook in high school. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's bring it up for questioning today, shall we? That's an attitude of curiosity, you know? To have the courage here near the Mexican border, the cojones. I won't translate that one. You can look it up. You know what I'm talking about. To have the chutzpah, yeah, the gumption, the will to question everything that you now believe. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Why would you stop with just some things when you could radically and totally liberate yourself? What we're talking about in A Course in Miracles with spirituality in general, no matter how you practice it or what form it may take in the physical world for you, we are talking about nothing less than total awakening. Realizing the truth of who you are. We all are. Yeah, nothing less than that. Nothing less than that is worthy of you. Okay? Realize that. Yeah. It's interesting what's coming through this morning. Yeah, nothing less than that is worthy of you. I mean that. So let's go deep, shall we? Lesson 161 in the workbook. And thank you all for tuning in here. I will get to specific comments and questions. And if you want to pop in and say hello, feel welcome to do so in the comment thread here. One of the beautiful things about having a live stream is the opportunity for live interaction. So if anything trips your trigger today, or if you just want to stop in and say hello, please do so. And I'll have some remarks here, and then I'll say hello at the end of the live stream here. All right, lesson 161 in the workbook invites us to practice differently, really differently. And I'll explain what this means in a moment here. The idea here in the workbook for students is, give me your blessing, Holy Son of God. Give me your blessing, Holy Son of God. I'm talking to all of you. Okay. If you've been through the workbook, or if you're familiar with A Course in Miracles, you will have encountered this idea before. So what we do as spiritual teachers, what I do every time I turn on the microphone and the camera, is I repeat myself. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, we repeat ourselves over and over and over and over and over again in different ways and in different contexts to reach all of you. Yeah. That's what Jesus does in dictating A Course in Miracles. He absolutely knows what he's doing, right? You've seen this idea before, maybe not in this exact form, but the idea behind give me your blessing, Holy Son of God. We're all sons of God. Son of God, understand, is just a term that we've made up to refer to, well, what's known as the Christ. Not just Jesus, by the way, but the Christ, the thought of God, God's creation. In other words, you and me, everyone else, every living thing. Every living thing. So we're all the Christ, one. There is oneness implicit in this. And what we're doing in spiritual practice is awakening to this oneness. And if it's a slow process, so be it. Let it be a slow process. Each of us has our own unconscious fear and guilt to lay aside. That's what the ego is a mistaken belief about ourselves. So what we do in practice is we undo that belief. It's wonderful if you can do it all at once, but for most of us, of course, this is a process that could take a long, long time. In fact, it has taken a long, long time. Why we continue to identify with the ego. And there's a part of us that doesn't believe today's idea. We see ourselves as cut off. We see ourselves in a very concrete world. That way, I appear to be a different human being than you. We appear to have different needs. We appear to live in different parts of the country. We appear to live in different countries, in different parts of the world. We speak different languages. Yeah. Everything appears to us to be separate and concrete and cut off, just like our biology textbooks insist. We're separate, independently existing organisms. All right. Well, if you're watching Enlightened World Network, you have most likely questioned this on some level, whether you were consciously aware of it or not. Let me make you consciously aware of it today. That's only part of reality. In fact, it's not reality at all. It's relative truth. That's the world that we live in, where we appear to be cut off and separate. Truth, with a capital T, what in Eastern philosophy is referred to as absolute or ultimate truth, is completely unaffected by all of this. It's the truth of who you are. So we're practicing differently today. Everything that we see in the world is what we choose to see. Ooh, how about that? Everything we see in the world is what we have chosen to see on a deep subconscious level. I can feel your ego resisting this, as mine did the first time I encountered this idea, of course. Yet somehow this may speak to you on a really deep level. Everything that we see in the world is symbolic. When we see beauty, it is symbolic of our abundance as the Son of God, as one with God. Yeah. When we see strife and suffering and pandemics and people berating each other on social media for taking a series of shots or not, when we see combat, violence, really insane, hateful rhetoric on every side of issues, we're not seeing things as they really, really are. They're not cut off and abstract, and these ideas may deeply threaten everything that you've been taught. I hope they do. And I mean that in the best, most loving way, because willingness to question everything that we now believe is a very important step along the path. And let the true benevolence of A Course in Miracles help you if you choose. This is very loving, and it's very connective. So everything that we see outside of us, apparently, I should say, outside of us, is symbolic of something that's in our mind. So most of us have a wild roller coaster yo-yo of positive and negative, don't we? Which means we've come far enough along the path to entertain ideas like today's, to even encounter spiritual practice, much less be interested in it, and then much less to pursue it, to start getting our feet wet in it, dipping our toes in it, dabbling, much less to continue on the path. Yeah. Consider yourself blessed and deeply fortunate to be listening to this message today. I consider myself deeply blessed to be delivering this message today. It's not from me. I hope that's clear. It's not from Tomás Garza. What is that? It's a name that has been assigned to this. So what is that really? What we're seeing apparently outside of us is symbolic of what's in our minds. This is how powerful we are. We could choose to see things differently. We could choose to see people that appear to be outside of us, opposed to us, even as ourselves. We're invited in lesson 161 to do nothing less than that, nothing short of that, to see another person as yourself, to acknowledge that they, and therefore you, are a son of God. In order to receive blessings, we must give them away. So we're invited today to practice in a very different manner. What we can do is we're here running around in the world, and we just talked about everything being a symbol. We typically use other people as symbols of our own fear. They symbolize our own deep-seated unconscious guilt and fear. That's why we see them as opposed to us and apparently hateful to us. And that's why we see all of these political messages, COVID-19 related messages. And that's why there appears to be strife, war, battle, pitched battle, whether it's physical or verbal or emotional, rhetoric. Yeah, I mean, just turn on your news feed. It's right there. So we appear to be seeing all this, we could choose to see everyone differently. We could choose to see all of the people acting out this drama as the Son of God. We could extend our love and our forgiveness and our blessings to them. So we're invited today to take a concrete symbol, in other words, one person. I know you've already thought of one person that you could work with in this way. So we're invited to choose one person, one apparent individual, and use concrete symbols like people, like political parties, like groups of people, like events, nations, even genders, everything. Yeah. Take something that is concrete and do what we call in the course giving it over to the Holy Spirit. In other words, allowing it to be reinterpreted. It's seeing, extending love and forgiveness to one other person, which we'll do in today's exercise, is doing this. It's allowing your guides, your higher self, to work through you. Nothing less than that. And nothing less than that is worthy of you. So, in a very real sense, we're all inviting ourselves to step up here. Yet it's loving, and it should be fun on some level to do this. So select a person. It doesn't have to be your concretized political enemy, though that's certainly a suitable subject. Could be your spouse, your domestic partner, could be someone whom you don't know on the other side of the world. But we're invited today in this very different form of practice in the workbook to picture this person, whoever it may be, and picture them in your mind and recite, as italicized here in the comments for lesson 161, "Give me your blessing, Holy Son of God. I would behold you with the eyes of Christ and see my perfect sinlessness in you." Okay. Recite this to them. If you don't have the text or the copy of this Course in Miracles in a book form, look it up online. I invite you to do that. That resource is available to all of us. Give me your blessing, Holy Son of God. I would behold you with the eyes of Christ and see my perfect sinlessness in you. Sinlessness, perfect. There is no sin. God has no ego to be offended, guys. Let us, no matter how ingrained this belief may be that we're sinners, let us begin to let go of that and release it. Is this not a relief to feel, not just to hear from me? You don't have to believe anything that I say. Isn't that wonderful? Course in Miracles is very explicit about that. You don't have to believe anything, anything at all here in the workbook. You're just invited to do the exercises as described. Just that. If this raises sincere doubt in you, that's good. And as always, I am here as a resource for you and a guide. So if you have specific questions that you would like me to help you with, feel welcome to either type them here in the comment thread on this live or to reach out to me personally, Tomás Garza. I'm available on Facebook Messenger, and I check that several times a day. In fact, my very good friend and business partner, Lisa Berry, and I call it our office. Truly, it's a virtual office. So we picture a person, again, does not have to be a sworn enemy, in our minds, and ask for their blessing. And we imagine ourselves, we envision ourselves, we then viscerally feel ourselves receiving that blessing. Very powerful form of practice. This is why, incidentally, A Course in Miracles emphasizes forgiveness so much, to the degree that it does. We're seeing other people as ourselves, which in fact they are, no matter how opposed they may appear to us. With forgiveness, as always, I invite you to start with who and what you feel able to do right now. And I said a few minutes ago here on the broadcast that it is not a matter of a blinding flash of awakening here. Most of us have a process, so you may find yourself today literally unable to go there with certain people or events or political parties. I always refer to this as an example. It's a good example, isn't it? You may find yourself unable to forgive someone at this time. Start with what and whom you're capable of forgiving. Yeah. All right. So very, very powerful idea today. Very powerful. And I invite you, if you do not own a physical copy of A Course in Miracles, to look online. You can Google Lesson 161 in the workbook for A Course in Miracles. And there are, not only is there the written commentary on the day's idea, but there are very good explanations, very thoughtful, very thorough explanations of this, which could go well beyond what we've covered here on this live stream. So I invite you to check all that out. All right, so I know several of you are on here, and I want to get to some of your comments here on the live. Thank you all so much for tuning in here. Laura, how are you? And Charles, hi guys. Veronica, hi, thank you for tuning in here. Allah, hi, how are you? Yes, everything that we see in the world we've chosen. Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah, thank you for that comment, Allah. Yes, thanks for joining us. Everything that we see in the world is what we've chosen to see. That's a tough lesson for us to admit, isn't it? We've chosen to see war. Oh my God, right? We've chosen to see a pandemic where people are spewing hate at each other. Yeah. Global disorganization, right? Lack of a cohesive response. Yeah. Lack of cohesive will, polarization. We've chosen to see that. That is not a pretty thing to admit to ourselves, is it? We've chosen this. Here's the power of who we are and our mind. We can choose otherwise. You can choose to see your brothers and sisters as yourself. You can choose to forgive. You can choose love instead of fear. So I invite you to do that right now, in the present moment. When else are you going to do it? Tomorrow doesn't exist. 20 minutes from now doesn't exist. 15 minutes ago, gone, right? Just the present moment. We're being invited, lovingly invited, to choose love. We're being invited piece by piece, lesson by lesson, day by day, moment by moment, to wake up. Now, how quickly you choose to do it is up to you. You could choose to deny all of this and delay your inevitable awakening, because that is each of our destiny. Why we've never gone anywhere. We are the Son of God. We're the thought of God, one with. Yeah. That sink in. And when that finally sank in for me, it was a revelation. I mean, literally, it was a tremendous weight gone. So if you have not had the experience of some of this baggage being left to the side, some tremendous weight gone, then I hope that you may have that. And my goal, as always, for you is to create a community here where you may safely talk about whatever is on your mind. The spiritual path should raise more questions than answers, even sometimes. Yeah. I mean, it's tempting to say as many questions as answers, but there are moments where we're really in question and in doubt. So just know that you are not alone. Never have been alone. And if you feel like that, there are people out there who have experienced what you're experiencing. There are numerous resources available for you. Help is out there, guys. Guidance is out there. Loving guidance, camaraderie, all of it available. And now, more so than ever, look, we're on the internet. I'm speaking to people on different continents live right now. And isn't that a fun and beautiful thing? People whom we may never meet in person. We are that much more connected. So let's use this tool for what we could use it for extending love, rather than BS, rhetoric, and hatred. Yeah, all right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you have further comments or questions, if you're watching this or catching me on the replay, feel welcome to leave them here. And I'm back in Phoenix, Arizona, broadcasting from the home office, got the microphone over here and the ring light, and I'm looking out a very sunny window at a park. Yeah, so wherever you are today, I invite you to take the time and work on today's idea. It is literally a game changer. That's what all of these are designed for. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Have a great